Good evening, fuckers. We are back with the next Train Simulator Classic request video, and this one is another one from LaserJet guy. You really got to shorten your name, mate. I never will remember it, but if I say LaserJet guy, you all know who I mean. Now, in some ways, this is very typical of a LaserJet guy request, but in one fairly big way, it's totally different to anything he's ever requested before. Normally, in fact, yeah, up until now, without exception, his requests have always been either in Scotland or in the far north of England, usually sort of North Lancashire and into Cumbria. Well, with this one, he couldn't have got much further away from that, really. So we are starting at London Waterloo, and we are on the Portsmouth Direct Line. The final destination is Guildford. And well, he did request a stopping service. Now I'm interpreting that as an all stops service. There are a lot of stops between Waterloo and Guildford, so even though it's not the longest in terms of distance by any stretch, this video could still be a bit of a long one simply because of the sheer number of stops that we're going to be making. Now, as far as the train, we are in a class 455, specifically a 455/8. The vast majority of 455s were the stroke 8 version. And we are very much running off peak times, so it is a 4-car train in the South West Trains livery. Now, there is actually a career scenario available on the Portsmouth Direct Line, and it does this exact route, London Waterloo to Guildford, in a class 455. And I was considering doing that, but that scenario, firstly, the weather, it's in the middle of a fucking great snowstorm, so it's difficult to see anything at all. And secondly, it's in the middle of winter and it starts at about 10:30 at night. So if the snowstorm meant you couldn't see anything, it's also night time. Yeah, it's not going to make a great video because you cannot see a fucking thing. So I thought, right, okay, we'll stick with quick drive for this one. So as far as the specifics, it's summer, it's cloudy, and it's 11:30 AM, so very much off peak, hence why we are in a 4-car train. So that is the setup. Let's get underway. And here we are at Waterloo platform 11 in our class 455. Now, I must admit, right, the name of the class 455 always to me suggests that it's quite a modern train. Now, I dare say there are plenty of people who really know their stuff about trains, and that's certainly far more than I do. And they'll probably think that sounds ridiculous. Why on earth would you assume that it is quite a modern train just because it's class 455? But yeah, I do. But this is not a modern train at all. The Class 455s were first constructed in 1982. Yeah, they are pretty old, and the last one to be built was built in 1985. So we're talking 40 years ago. So yeah, definitely not a modern emu. So let's get the lights set up. I think that's... no, that's night running. That's daylight running, I think. Right, that is pretty much all I need to do. So... yeah, the familiar sight of a cab which, yeah, is a bit cramped. I mean, admittedly, it's nowhere near as badly cramped as, say, a 156 or a 158. But it's still, you know, this thing, I know I keep banging on about it, but I really do not like it. You know, the driver's cab is all cramped up to one side just so they could fit a fucking great front door on the front of it. You also see that the view is not fantastic, but it's not absolutely diabolical. So let's have a look. Yeah, I did set the lights right. I'm quite pleased about that. Right, let's get ourselves set up. So Guildford is only 30.4 miles away, but like I say, we are stopping at every stop, so it's still going to take us a little bit. The ETA says it's going to take us just over 35 minutes, but that does not take into account stopping at every stop. So, right, let's get underway. Once the brakes come off, here we go. The acceleration rate on the 455 is fantastic. It is a relatively basic loco, this thing. Its top speed is limited to 75 mph. And as far as like passengers are concerned, it does not offer a great deal. So here's our view from the passenger cabin. Well, you know, from the carriage. But I mean, there's no first class section. There's no toilets. There is basically, you get somewhere to sit down and that is it. But it's not purely for cost cutting reasons. It's that the 455 was made purely to do commuter runs. This run that we are doing, Waterloo to Guildford, this is probably the longest sort of distance the 455 would normally cover. It took a while for the engines to cut in there, but there we go. We are now onto a 50 mph section. Vauxhall station is about 3/4 of a mile. That is our first stop. This is Jim Play's old stomping grounds. Now let's see if the brakes are as good as the acceleration. Yes, the brakes are great. I'll say, if you're doing a sort of like commuter run in this game, you could do far worse than use the 455. I don't mind the yeah, I don't mind the 455 at all. When the yeah, when the 455 first came into service, it wasn't hugely powerful. It wasn't really needed, you know, to be like hugely powerful. There you go. So yeah, the motors were I think it was like 205 horsepower per powered unit. But once South West Trains got their hands on it, they bumped up the power, and they bumped it up by quite a hefty amount, and it became somewhere in the region of 320 something. In fact, it may have even been 330 something per unit. So in this one, which has 3 powered units, we are talking very close to 1000 horsepower. It's almost a bit excessive. I mean, considering we're only doing commuter runs and we're never going to be doing faster than 75, well, officially anyway, you would think that yeah, 1000 horsepower, you wouldn't need anything like that sort of power. So we're now in a 60 zone. I think we've got a green ahead. Yep, we do. It's a good job because I had left the braking far too late to be able to stop. So I think that was a 450 that we just passed. And that's one of the reasons why I kept assuming that the 455 was quite a modern train, because the 450, that is a modern train. It's certainly a damn sight more up to date than the 455 is. So Clapham Junction is the next station. So we will coast for a fair bit of this. We do need to lose about 5 mph. I don't think we're going to do that just from coasting, but we'll see how much we can lose. Yeah, it looks like we will lose enough. There we go, so we're now fine for that speed limit. And we haven't even touched the brakes. We will obviously need to use the brakes because we are going to be stopping at Clapham Junction. I have actually taken this train journey myself from Waterloo to Guildford, but I don't remember anything about it at all, which is at least partly due to the fact that I was 8 when when we did it. So yeah, when Jim Plays does his videos, and he does tend to do them on routes that he is familiar with, and this is a route, this entire line, London to Portsmouth, yeah, this is a route that he is very familiar with. So he can tell you far more about it than I ever could. Let's get some full service brakes. We've missed the stopping point as far as where we should be in a 4-car train. But nevertheless, here we are at Clapham Junction. As far as the surroundings, yeah, no sign of any sort of major landmarks. Must admit, I'm not the biggest fan of the South West Trains livery. I mean, it's not utterly hideous, you know. It's not like this is the train equivalent of Bella Ramsey or something. You know, it's not physically repulsive, but it is a bit gaudy, isn't it? You know. I'm waiting to hear if we get the guard signal. No, we don't. Okay, let's just head straight off then. Brakes are very slow to release. So we are entering a 75 mph zone. It won't be long at all before we can actually do that speed. I'll say that is the max speed of this train, or I should say it's the maximum operational speed of this train. I'm sure it can do over 75. I'm pretty sure these days there are no 455s still in operation. I don't know for certain, but I'm relatively sure. They were certainly all being replaced with Class 701s. I mean, the 700 series, you can't knock it. They are great, great locos. But the 455 is still absolutely fine. I don't think it's really necessary to replace them all. The Earlsfield station is our next stop. So yeah, we've only done 5 miles and this is already our 3rd stop, and that's yeah, that's not going to change. We've got plenty more to come. I mean, I know plenty of people who play Train Simulator Classic who love these sorts of runs, you know, the commuter runs, stopping at loads of stations and that. I'm kind of on the fence. I don't mind them, but it does rather depend on the route. There are some routes where the number of stations is so excessive that, yeah, I find it a bit annoying. The Kent ones absolutely spring to mind, and to a degree the Manchester to Liverpool one, that's another. It's just so many. So here we are, Earlsfield, another 455 pulling in the next. Yeah, that one is significantly longer train than ours, even though it is off peak. Sure, they don't need to be running that many carriages. That's our doors closing. So yeah, I released the brakes, but they don't actually start releasing until you have engaged the throttle. I'm also pretty sure this is another of those trains that run like the 483s, you know, the Isle of Wight ones, where now we've got it into notch 4. If I was to take it down, yeah, it stays running as notch 4. The only way to actually stop it from continuing to run in notch 4 is to take it down to 0. Effectively, yeah, stop it. Right, stop, you know, the power actually continuing to be added to the motors. So Wimbledon is our next stop. Fucking snobby, horrible place. I'm not a fan of Wimbledon at all. Weird thing is, Wimbledon, yeah, has the deserved reputation of being a snobby place, but those of us who remember Wimbledon when the football team was in the old First Division, yeah, they certainly were not snobby. Okay, we can start coasting now. No shortage of 455s around here. Quite a major station here at Wimbledon. Didn't mean to put it in a full service, but actually, yeah, that's not a problem. So yeah, here we are at Wimbledon. Yeah, if there are any impressive sights in Wimbledon, not just the Poxy Tennis club, well, we certainly can't see them from this station. Okay, onwards. So, yeah, plenty of activity on these lines, and here we come. Yeah, some pretty hefty FPS loss there, but oh well. It won't last. Once we leave the sort of greater London area, we'll be okay then. We do actually have a speed or max speed increase coming up to 80 mph, so it'd be interesting to see if this train can do that speed. So this platform that's coming up here, I think that's an underground, actually no, not South London, it won't be. So I've no idea what station it was, but it's put us through the avoiding lane, so yeah. Not stopping there because we can't. Certainly picking up some speed now though. For a commuter train we are fairly motoring along. Acceleration rate has really slowed, and we are on completely level ground, so it's not because we're on any kind of gradient. So it does indeed look like 75 is going to be as good as we're going to get. So another station that is put us on the avoiding line. Doesn't show the station on the HUD, so there's definitely no stopping there. I have no idea what that station was. So we're now entering the 80 zone. We are now in it. But yeah, 72.5. May not, oh, I was just going to say we may not even be able to go any faster than this, because one of the units that make up our train is not powered, so there is some unpowered weight being pulled in this unit, so we may not even be able to make it to 75. We have another speed increase coming up to 90. There's no way we're getting anywhere near that. So another station, and again we are going through the we're basically on the fast lane, the express lane. I keep saying lane. So yeah, that's what, the third station that it sent us straight through. The trouble is with a quick drive scenario, yeah, there's nothing I can do about it. It, you know, this is the way it's sending us. So with quick drive, obviously you can choose your starting point and your ending point, but that's really about all you can do. So another one here. This might be Hampton Court Station. It's quite a major station, whatever it is. So I don't know, if it's not Hampton Court, is it Kingston or something? So 72.7 definitely looks like that's us topped out. We've been on this speed for a fair while now. I mean, it's not bad though for a commuter train. Alright, so if this is Hampton Court Junction, then I mean we're still pretty close to the Thames. I think we're sort of following the Thames, the sort of, you know, southwesterly way. And if we are now Esher, so the likes of Windsor and Slough are probably not that far away. I don't know if we're going to be stopping at either of those. Actually, I thought Windsor and Slough were north of the Thames, not south, so yeah, maybe scrub that. We're not going that direction. Another station that we are just going straight through. Another station, I have no idea what it is. So it could actually be that, well, in fact there's no doubt about it, it will be that our trip to Guildford is going to be a lot quicker than certainly I imagined. Because I was expecting it to, yeah, have us stopping at all of those stations that we have just gone straight through. That's been 4 of them now. In fact, we've now skipped as many stations as we have stopped at. So I think that, yeah, that's 450 that's just passed us. And here's yet another station. See if I can spot what this one is. Okay, so this is Hersham. Yep, just going straight through it. This looks like a relatively major station coming up here. See if we can spot what this one is. Wilton on Thames, would that say? Not familiar with it. Another 450 over the far side. It does annoy me when it does that. much longer 455 has passed us there. Is there anyone actually seating in the area where? No. So another station here. Let's see what this one is. God, I can barely. It looked like Redbridge, but I mean the Redbridge I know is up by Dagenham way. So we've now passed through way more stations than we have stopped at, but not by choice. It's just this is the way it has sent us. Ah, we finally have a station that we will be stopping at, West Byfleet. Well, we can start coasting a little bit. There is another station here. What's this one? This one looks like a relatively major one. Byfleet and New something or other. So we're stopping at West Byfleet, but what looked like the major station for Byfleet, we just went straight through. And yet another 450 passing us there. So here we are at West Byfleet Station. Doesn't look like a bad old place. I have a feeling it's a bit of a snobby place though. Well, let's face it, we went from sort of southwest London, now we're heading into Surrey. So yeah, it's very likely to be a snobby place. So Guildford is less than 9 miles away now. So we are certainly well into Surrey then. So 40 mph limit coming up. That must mean that a station's appearing. I don't know if it's Godalming or... No, it's not. No, it's Woking. Yeah, where my mum was born. I'm sure I say that every single time I approach this station in this game, but... yeah, we have a double yellow. Can't yet see what the next signal is. It looks like a single yellow. We are going to have to start braking. It is a single yellow. Quite a delay in the visual and the audio alert for the AWS. Did not, certainly not mean to put it into full service. Right, this does indeed look like it's red for us unless we are crossing over on points. But if we are, those points don't come along until after that signal, I don't think. Oh, we've just got an alert for a green. So those points must be just before the signal, but I do mean that just. So yeah, there you can see the 40, and here we are. So yeah, we are fine. There's no point in picking up speed though, because we are stopping at this station. And that looks like, yeah, we've got another double yellow straight ahead. Well, hopefully that will change to green while we are stopped here. Quite a big old station at Woking. There you go. Okay, so Woking right there. Oh yeah, that's a short stop. Yeah, it was us. So this is now double yellow. I think it was initially only a single yellow when we first approached it. So this is bound to be a single yellow here. Yeah. Unless it's because, yeah, the part above here is saying it is moving us onto another line, and that's why that 40 mph limit that is coming up. So, yeah, taking us off that line that we were on. I think if we carried on that line, that would have been taking us towards Southampton and that, I think. Again, Jim could tell you far more about this sort of line than I could. So we are now on a 90 mph section again. We're not on it for very long though, because we are less than 5.5 miles from Guildford. So Worplesdon is the next station. Yeah, I thought this was quite a small station. In fact, it's a lot larger than I thought it was. It's still not exactly like, you know, it's not exactly rivaling Waterloo, is it? But so, yep, here we are then, Worplesdon. I don't know the first thing about this place. It doesn't exactly look like a station that is used very often. It is quite a, well, there's bugger all here really, isn't there? Right, onwards. I can't imagine there are too many more stations to go. Guildford is 3.5 miles away. Fairly steep uphill bit here, 1 in 111. And it is certainly affecting our acceleration rate, no doubt about that. So 50 mph limit coming up, and that is the final approach to Guildford station. We have what looks like a yellow aspect again. It looks like it's a double yellow actually. Hopefully that is the case, because then we don't really need to worry too much about it. Yeah, it is double yellow, that's fine. So the single yellow coming up next, and then we'll be in Guildford before... Yeah, that's the yeah, warning about the 50 mph speed reduction. But yeah, we'll be in Guildford before we approach what will almost certainly still be a red signal. So yeah, here is the single yellow aspect. So yeah, it is a red signal at the end of the platform. Pretty much as expected. So there we are. That was London Waterloo to Guildford, stopping at, well, all stations where we could, but it did send us through quite a few sort of like avoiding lines where we couldn't stop even if we wanted to. Nevertheless, there were a fair few stops, but it's safe to say that run was done a lot faster than I expected. Those trains that I kept saying were 450s looks like they were actually 444s. So there we are, and no speeding errors of any kind. So yeah, I didn't do it too badly. So yeah, there we go. London Waterloo to Guildford, done and dusted. So if you have a request, then just click on the link in the description. It will take you to the video where I go through all of the locos and all of the routes that I have available. There's also a pinned comment there which has been updated so that it will give you all the additional routes and additional locos that I have since got after doing that video, so it is bang up to date. And yeah, if I do have the route and stroke or the loco that you want to see, then bung your request in the comment section there and we'll get it done, providing it's not a ridiculous one. Okay, there we go, video done. We will see you at the next one.